Yes, so last night on his show, The 11th Hour, Brian Williams, one of the most honest, great honest journalists that we have out there, announced...
The gold standard.
He works at MSNBC.
Exactly.
That's what they do there.
He announced that he's going to be leaving MSNBC. And, we joke about him and the fact that he basically got caught lying, and I think that's valid. But the truth is that he's been at NBC for about 28 years. He's a pretty established journalist. He's a name that a lot of people know, and so it's big news when somebody like this is going to leave your network, especially given some of the issues that they have that I'm going to talk about in a second. But on his show last night, Brian Williams announced his departure. We have a little bit of a clip of that. He's going to leave at the end of the year.
Last thing before we go tonight, as the old song says, we got a thing going on. Think about it. We've been meeting this way at this same time, this same place for an awful long while, 5 years, give or take. Next year is my 40th year in the business. The earth was still cooling, in fact, when I started as a reporter. And so that got me to thinking, and that led me to write something that we made public earlier tonight. And in case you missed it or demanded a dramatic reading, here it is, and it reads like this. Following much reflection and after 28 years with the company, I have decided to leave NBC upon the completion of my current contract in December.
So he went on like that a little bit. He kind of bragged about himself, as they tend to do at the leftist networks. And then he said, my coworkers have been great, blah, 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 blah. Point is, he's leaving. I think that it's interesting because this comes amid speculation that Rachel Maddow, who's probably the most well-known anchor over at MSNBC, is going to leave. She hasn't announced that she's going to leave, but there's speculation that she's going to leave her primetime show to focus on other things. You have Brian Williams, a pretty well-known guy in the 11 o'clock slot, that when it started in 2016, this show, The 11th Hour, it was getting pretty good ratings. It was outdoing CNN and Fox News in May 2017, and lately it's just really fallen off. Partly, I think, because they don't have Donald Trump to talk about anymore, and I think that's a big reason that people aren't watching them anymore. But I'm just curious, do you guys think that this is kind of a warning sign for MSNBC? They're losing Brian Williams, potentially losing one of their more famous shows. Is it concerning for them?
Well, I would say it is concerning, but just to give the audience a little bit behind the scenes, when he made the comment about the earth cooling, there was a unanimous three-way eye roll that occurred at this table, so that was just funny to observe. But I think that it is kind of a sign of the times when you spend an entire news cycle completely dedicated to someone, basically worshiping them and blaming everything on them. And your news cycle for 4 years straight is the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Like, at that point, everyone, all of the people in your audience are like, oh, well, the sky must not be falling as much now that he's gone, right? So they probably don't feel as pressing of an issue to tune into the news because they don't need the reason and they don't need to be informed about what to complain about Trump about on Facebook, So they completely annihilated their own audience. And I think that the fact that Brian himself is leaving, like I remember watching him on TV growing up, I think that is really telling, especially if Golden Girl Rachel Maddow decides to leave. I think that liberal media is probably just going to be in a tailspin.